See, that was a bad decision right there. The microphone was mute, so you didn't hear a word I said. How's it going? My name's Ed Frank Contreras, and I'd like to welcome you to the first episode of Bad Decisions Make Great Stories. You already saw the t-shirt, right? This is actually a t-shirt I got from my nephew when we were on vacation in the Dominican Republic. You know, it was one of those days, and I just put something on because I was hanging out with him, and it just so happened. And you see, I got my shades on because there's a lot of sunshine. There's a lot of sunshine. It's outside. And I'm coming to you today from an undisclosed location. This is a very top secret location in my home office in Atlanta, Georgia. Oh, all right. That wasn't a good decision either, right? I'm notorious for making bad decisions, ladies and gentlemen. And I don't know if you're like me. I've made a whole bunch of bad decisions. I've made some serious bad decisions in my life. And I want to tell you that I got some good stories for you. You know why? I'm going to start off by telling you that I've had over 30 jobs. I've done over 30, and it's not like 30 jobs that I've gone to the same industry and the same things and doing all of that. Let me take this off. It's not that bright. I was just messing around. All right, so it hasn't been like, I've been doing the same thing in different jobs. I've had 30 different jobs, 30 different things that I've done between, my entrepreneurial pursuits, between the jobs that I've gotten from people that have recommended me for them, the ones that I've checked out on the newspaper ads myself, the ones that I've gone to interviews and done the whole resume thing. And my resume is pretty extensive if you look at it, but it's a lot of different things. Like if I show my resume, like your resume is supposed to show some type of consistency, right? And I'm notoriously consistent at not spending too long at any job. And it's not because I can't do the job. It's not because I get fired. Quite the contrary. I actually get proposed to go into some kind of accelerated program 8 times out of 10 in the actual jobs that I do have because they see my potential. But the thing is that I don't want to work to keep funding someone else's dream. I don't want to be part of the matrix. You know what I mean? I mean, we all are in a certain point, at a certain extent, to a certain extent. But it's like, if you can make and build your own dream, why should you continue spending your time? Like, if you think your hours are worth $10 an hour for the rest of your life, fine, go ahead, give $10 an hour worth of value. And if you think that you deserve more and you're entitled to more, I mean, get over yourself with the whole feeling of entitlement. I'm supposed to get paid, and the government and rich people and this and this and that. Because I'm going to tell you something. Did you know that about 85 people in the world make up the 1%? I'm talking about the whole world, make up the 1%, and they make like 40 something times more than the regular, than the average salary person in the United States. Average salary is about $40,000 a year. Now, $40,000 a year was and let me tell you, if I speak about any type of income that's generated in this video, I'm not guaranteeing that that's what you're going to get if you participate in whatever it is that I mentioned. I might mention for you to join something. I might not. It's not the point of this video. My intention is to get across to you the things that have shaped my decision making throughout the years and how I've gone to make from bad to worse to great decisions. And even if you think they're bad right now, don't worry about them. They're all learning. They're all learning experiences. It doesn't matter if you think it's a bad decision, because it doesn't really matter. Why doesn't it matter? Because there is no bad decisions. There is no bad decisions. Everything is just a learning process. And if you're still here, if you're watching me right now, that means that whatever decision you made, you can correct. And if it didn't give you the results that you wanted, just change it. If it gave you the exact opposite of the results that you wanted to achieve, just do the exact opposite of what you did. And that'll probably get you to where you want to go, or at least close to it. I mean, maybe you won't hit your mark, because most people they don't get demotivated, or they don't get discouraged from going after the dream because they don't achieve their goals. The thing is that a lot of people are notorious for making bad goals. They're making bad decisions. They're reaching for their goals. And the problem is not that they don't achieve them, but that they actually do achieve them. And when they do get it, it's not enough. It's not what they thought it won't, it doesn't feel. It's all about feeling. It doesn't feel like you thought it would feel. Let's say, for example, you get a new car. I've had a couple of new cars in my life. Yeah, it's exciting the first couple of months, this and that. In 2007 was the first time I got a brand new car. I drove the thing off the lot, and I actually encourage anyone and everyone to have that experience. Just to, even if you're not like, it doesn't matter if you're a materialistic person, if you focus on money, if you focus on whatever it is, it doesn't matter. I just want you, and I really recommend that you drive a brand new car off the lot, that you experience what it is to own a brand new car. Because after you get that out of your system, it'll be out of your system. Then everything else, depending on the car you want, it's something that you really want, you really like, or it's gonna be a reminder of the level of achievement that you've had. It doesn't mean that that's you, that defines you, right? Depending on the car you have. My dream car is an Aston Martin. Excuse me. Aston Martins have been my dream car since I don't know how long. I think the first time I saw it in Crown Royale or something, or maybe in one of the James Bond movies or somewhere else. But I love that car. It's a beautiful car. But I'm gonna tell you something. I understand that when I do get that car, which I'm lined up to get it this year, it's not gonna be like a 5-year fad. Like, oh my God, I'm gonna be going nuts for the car. Yeah, I'm gonna enjoy it for the first couple of months, but statistics show that after the first 3 months, like, it doesn't matter if it's a brand new car, you really feel the same way. It makes you happy for a bit. It doesn't matter how much money you have, because you know what? It's, studies have shown that after $75,000 a year, there's no real difference in the level of happiness of an individual, all the way up to the multi-millions, to the hundreds of millions of dollars, to the billionaires. In terms of happiness, which is my goal has always been to strive for happiness on a daily basis, to find every reason that I could be happy for. Now, I've been surrounded a long time by people who are looking for the negatives in their life, for the things to whine about, for the things that they're not happy for the things that are wrong, for the things that are missing, for what needs to get done and what hasn't been done. When I've realized that a lot of those same people don't actually focus on how many things are right with their lives. And usually there are more things right with their lives than they are wrong. But if you don't look for them, if you don't search for them, you're not going to find them. And that's the whole purpose of my whole, bad decisions. I went to my closet, put this on. Bad decisions make great stories. Now, let me tell you this one great story of this bad decision that I made. 15 years ago, I got my freedom taken away from me on February 27th, 2012. At around 2:45, as I was making my way to go pick up my sister from school with my mother. I was in the Bronx, and I got my freedom taken away that day. It was actually Dominican Independence Day, February 27th. I think that every agency, every law enforcement agency shouldn't arrest any Dominican on that day. Seriously, it doesn't matter what they've done. I mean, shy of, somebody killing or massacring somebody or doing some crazy stuff like that. Like, you really shouldn't arrest any Dominican on February 27th. And, leave a comment below or something if you agree with this. If you're Dominican and you agree with this, what do you think? Well, I got my freedom taken away. And at the time, it was the actual product of me making bad decisions. Bad decisions to hang out with the wrong people, bad decisions to do things that I thought weren't good for me. I mean, I thought that were going to be good for me. And I was just doing it for the money. Like most people do things for the money. And since I've been a teenager, since I've heard my father and all the people that say that I know love me and have the best of intentions, but they've been teaching the wrong thing. And the thing is that it's not what you speak of, it's what you do. It's your actual actions that teach people what to do or what not to do. Now, if you think about it, all the decisions that I made, they were really essential to my development. They were essential to me being here today, talking to you about the things that I've done that have happened in my life that I have made happen. Because a lot of people, a lot of people say that life happens to them. A lot of these people that say, why does this happen to me? Oh, and then look up at the sky and say, God, why does this happen to me? Why does it keep happening to me? Give me a break, God. Give me, like, it's something out there in the universe, something that's really some guy with a big white beard hanging out in the sky, looking down on us and saying, and running the show. And it's really not. If you, like, my beliefs are totally different than what I've been taught and what the whole church thing that, that I was taught when I grew up. But the thing is that a lot of people that had the best of intentions, they tell you, don't do this. They tell you, don't hang out with this crowd. Don't sell drugs. It's bad for you. Don't do drugs. It's bad for you. But meanwhile, yeah, their intentions are in the right place, and they really do it out of place of, from a place of love. But are they showing the flip side to it? Are they showing the other option? Are they showing you how to do it instead of just telling you how not to do it? Now, there's a lot of people in your life that, like in my life, I'm pretty sure, because it's a universal thing, that I've told you what not to do, that I've showed you what not to do. And sometimes you wanna fight about it, you wanna argue, and you wanna be right, and you wanna tell them that they're wrong. But that's really a waste of time and energy, because it doesn't matter if you're right or wrong. It really doesn't matter, because how does it feel to be wrong? How does it feel to be wrong? If I ask you that question right now, answer to yourself, how does it feel to be wrong? How do you feel when you're wrong? You'd probably say, I feel horrible. And I tell you that you'd be wrong. Why? Because you're answering a different question. You're not answering the question of how does it feel to be wrong? You're answering the question of how does it feel to realize that you're wrong? Because you could be wrong your whole life and not realize it and go on like Wile E. Coyote in Looney Tunes and in the Warner Brothers cartoons. Wile E. Coyote kept running and running after the Roadrunner, and the Roadrunner would just shoot straight across the hill onto the other mountain, right? And Wile E. Coyote didn't have enough propulsion to do that. That's why he was getting all the acne products and all that other stuff. Acne? Did I say acne or acne? I don't know. It's the acne products. Whatever it is. You know what I'm talking about if you're old enough. Or maybe you've seen the cartoons. Maybe you haven't. But Wile E. Coyote, if you haven't, look them up, man. That's cool. It's fun to watch these things because they actually teach you something. I've realized that most of these older cartoons, like the ones now, I don't know what they're teaching. But anyway, not to get off topic. When you're wrong, like you just keep going through life. You keep skating through life like you're doing everything right. Now, if you're bitching and whining about that you're not getting what it is that you want, maybe you're doing something wrong that's not creating what you want, because you probably realize sometimes that when you think about something, you're like, oh my God, that was so miraculous. That's so freaky. I was thinking about this and then I saw this and it happened. Don't you think it could be the same for anything in your life? Anything in your life that you want. You want that car? Great. But why do you want that car? You want that car so it could sit in the garage and so you could feel like, you have a nice car? Or do you want that car to actually enjoy the freaking car and go on road trips all the time? Now, that's my idea of having a vehicle that you like and love, something comfortable. You don't want something uncomfortable. Why do you want those heels, girls, women? Why do you want those big, nice, expensive pumps? Why? I don't know. You want to be uncomfortable, or you want to show off how nice they are? Are you a compulsive shopper? Do you shop to make you happy? Like maybe you're wrong in that feeling, and you can actually create a situation where that void that you feel inside, that you fill up momentarily by shopping, compulsive shopping, you could really fill it up permanently. Now, I've heard a lot of people say that, it's romantic when you hear so-and-so completes me. I'm looking for that person to be my better half. The hell you mean a better half? So you're saying you're just half a person? No, You're a full, complete person that's missing something. You have a void inside of you that a lot of people fill up with going to church and getting their spiritual healing, right? Going over there or being part of a group or something. If you're an alcoholic, you go to Alcoholics Anonymous. Or if you're, using drugs, you go to Narcotics Anonymous. What is it? Narcotics Anonymous? Or whatever it is. I don't know. I've never been to these things. I only been to the family part of it because I've had family members that have had, serious drug addictions. And I've seen that side of it. So it's all about the decisions that you make. The decisions that you make create your tomorrow. The decisions you make today create your tomorrow, and the decisions that you made yesterday created today. And today, how do you feel? Did you feel like waking up today? Good question. Did you feel like waking up today? Did you wake up with an alarm, or did you just wake up? Did you just open your eyes? Did you slowly come out of your slumber of a wonderful dream and opened up your eyes and said, thank you? Or did the alarm sound and you started thinking, oh my God, I got to get to work. Oh my God, hold up. Oh, I'm late to church. Oh, I gotta wake my kids up so they could go to church. And you start your church day, right? Your church day, which is supposed to be God and all holy and whatever, why do you start off a day like that arguing with your kids to get dressed? Like every Sunday, I see a lot of people leave their houses to go to supposedly a calm spiritual place angry. Like, why would you do that to yourself? And you know what? Look in the Bible. Church is not a building. Church is not a building, people. Those buildings were built by man with a bigger vision, and then there's a leader in the front, and you're part of a freaking pyramid scheme. Seriously. I'm not, please, I'm only responsible for what I say. I'm not responsible for what you understand. If you're looking to be offended by the things that I say, go right ahead. I don't really mind, because for a long time, I actually minimized my speaking. I reduced my opinions so that I won't offend people. But the thing is that people are going to be offended anyway. Whatever you're looking for, you're going to find. Seek and ye shall find, right? Have you heard that before? Even if you haven't read the Bible, there's a lot of people that would probably comment on this. Oh, why are you giving Bible quotes and, scripture? We're not all Christians and we're not all religious. Doesn't matter if you're religious or not. If you're alive in this world and you don't know what the hell seek and you shall find, if you haven't heard it somewhere, because it's a big movement. There's a lot of people doing this. If you seek, you will find. Whatever you're looking for, you will find it, even if it's not there. If it's not there, you will create it. If you're thinking that your husband is cheating on you, you will start finding things that aren't there, and you'll start bringing it up to his face. And most of the time, you'll look like an idiot because it wasn't what you thought. You'll look like an ass. Maybe you think your girlfriend's cheating on you. You start looking for stuff, and oh my God, what if you find that stuff you're really looking for? And it might look like it's something, but it's really something else. And if you go and talk to them and you confront them on it, and then it's going to be a whole different thing. It doesn't matter what you're looking for, you will find it. So if you're looking to be offended by the things that people say, by the things that happen in your life, you will be offended. Trust me when I tell you, because I was one of those that was always looking like, somebody would say something, but what you mean? But what are you trying to say? What are you trying to say? And a lot of people talk to me like that. But the thing is that the way that I speak, it's usually straight to the freaking point. And if I tell you you're being an ass, but what do you mean? I mean, you're being an ass. Oh, you're not making the right decisions. But what you mean? I mean, you're not making the right decisions, and you're whining about the results of the decisions that you've made. So make some different decisions so you can get different results, and first make the decision to stop whining. Because a lot of people are always whining about their situations, not understanding that they create their lives. Life doesn't create you. The circumstances don't create you. They bring you out, depending on how you respond to your circumstances. And this is what responsibility is. When I was a child, when I was growing up, and even to this day, I hear adults and people who think they have authority, that they're doing the right thing when they're 50, 60, 70 years old, and they still haven't created a freaking life that's commendable, a life that you can share, a life that you could be, proud to talk about. And you just, people just digress, and they go and they sit on their lazy boys, right? And watch TV. Actually, they let watch TV They let TV watch them because they're always falling asleep because they have nothing to stay awake for. It's a freaking depressing life, right? Now, so many people are living these lives and they don't understand that if you make a different decision, you will get to a different place. Now, if you're always whining about, oh, life happens to me, happens to me, happens to me, no. Now, these people that have always told me about responsibility, when I was a teenager, it's like, when you grow up, watch, you'll see, you're lazy. And when you grow up, you're going to have to be responsible because that's what adults do. Adults are responsible. Responsible to me meant, it sounded like it's not really that complicated. Responsibility to me was hard. Responsibility to me was something that, oh my God, I wasn't looking forward to being a responsible adult. And I still get kids that have been taught these things, that have been told this repeatedly on a daily basis, usually by their parents, that think that they're giving their kids, they think they're giving their kids a proper education, a proper message, a proper, how can I put this, example. See, because you have to lead by example. You can't just tell people, do this, do that. If you're not doing it, who the hell are you? Are you the authority on how to do things because you don't do them and you tell people what to do? Now, if you've done them already and you've passed the point of having to do them, great, you're the authority. Or if you're willing to get down in the trenches and do it, just like I do it, just like so many people on the team do it, and do what you have to do the work, and it's really not hard. It's just that the more we think about something, the more we think about doing something, it just, starts mounting and mounting and mounting, and then it becomes insurmountable. It's like, oh my God, it's so big, it's so huge, I can't do it. It's too much. I'm gonna, I really can't do it. And if you say you can't, great, you're right. And if you say you can, you're also right. Just like Will Smith said that who was it that said, Confucius. Confucius said, whatever, I'm paraphrasing here, it's not the exact quote. If those who say they're right and those who say they're wrong are both usually right, or something like that, whatever, but you're right. You're always seeking to be right because you're not crazy. Now, the thing that happens is that the longer you've lived a certain way, the harder it is to change how you've been living. Because that means that you're going to have to admit to yourself first. This is how a lot of friction happens and a lot of things go back and forth. You're going to have to admit to yourself first that you have been acting and making wrong decisions. Not wrong decisions, but decisions that haven't created the life that you want, right? But you haven't been making the right decisions to create the life that you have. Okay, and those decisions are the ones that you can mold and change and adapt to whatever life you do want. And how do you do that? You look for something that somebody has done it. Like, for example, if you know who John Reese is? This is why it doesn't matter. I always tell people, my name is Ed Frank Contreras. How you doing? And it doesn't really matter if you know who I am, because I didn't know who John Reese was when I started wanting to make money on the internet. Excuse me. I had no idea who John Reese was. And John Reese is what I like to refer to as the Roger Bannister of online marketing. Not online marketing, but the Roger Bannister of the internet, period. Because now you probably don't know who Roger Bannister is, right? You live in the same world I do, physically, but mentally, we probably live in different worlds, and that's all well and good, because if you're watching this right now, you're coming into my world, and you're going to see a little slice of my world, and I hope it interests you because it's just a lead by example world. I don't want you to do anything that I haven't done or that I won't do or that I'm not willing to do. So that's the thing that I learned from my whole life, and it's basically the most important lesson that I have is lead by example. Now, Roger Bannister was the first man to break the 4-minute mile, right? The 4-minute mile was, before he did it, it was impossible because everybody agreed that it was impossible, that the human body, that the heart would explode and the human body couldn't handle running a 4-minute mile. Now, the thing that happened with Roger Bannister is that he didn't actually, he trained like crazy, but what actually got him to run the 4-minute mile was up here. He replayed it in his mind so many times, running that 4-minute mile, that he actually achieved it. He actually did it. And after he did it, this is the thing. From the time that he did it Up to now, there's over 20,000 people that have done it. There's a crap load of high school kids doing it right now. Why? Because he gave the rest of us permission that it could be done. If you wanted to do it, you could do it too. It doesn't matter what size you are, you could get to the point. I mean, there are certain limitations. If you're 80 years old, I don't think you're going to get to the point, and you've never worked out in your life. I mean, you have to be kind of real on that part, right? But anyone that sets their mind to do anything can achieve whatever they set their mind to. You know, well within reason, because if you're trying to have, like, for example, women, check this out. You cannot seriously have this. My son told me this yesterday. He's like, Dad, is it possible for a woman to have a 6-month-old baby and a 3-month-old baby at the same time? I'm like, yeah, if she adopts one of them, because, like, how is that possible? It could be possible, you know, having maybe a premature baby, and then I don't know. I haven't done the math, but it seems to be impossible, right? You can't have a 1-month-old baby and a 2-month-old baby. Now that one right there. That's really, you can't do it unless you just dream about it or you put it into some computer or something. But it's not physically, in physical reality, it's not possible. Now the thing is, John Reese, he was the first man to ever make $1 million. $1 million in a 24-hour time frame online. $1 million. It seems like a lot, but it's really not that much. Now, I was, as soon as I heard this, I'm like, how the hell did he do that? Like, oh my God, $1 million. $1 million is a lot of money. It's a lot of money, and it's really not that much money. But you have to become the person that actually believes that they deserve $1 million to even get $1 million. Because I'm going to tell you something. If you made $1,500 a week, let me ask you this. If you made $1,500 a week, I'm going to do the math again. I did this math in 2007. This math, and it just came to me, like, how would I, $1,500 a week, right? Times 52 weeks, equals, that's $78,000 a year. How long would it take you to make $1 million at $1,500 a week? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That's it. 6 zeros. There's a lot of nothing on $1 million. There's 6 nothings because 0 equals nothing, right? Divided by 1,500. All right, that's 666 weeks. 0.666666666. That's not a good number to a lot of people. But look, I'm not saying anything that's not there. All right, let's just calculate it by 666. 1,500 by 666. No. By, 666 equals $1 million. Now, 666 weeks divided by 52 equals a year. How many years would it take? $12 years. About 13 years it would take you. About 13 years it would take you to make $1 million. 13 years, people. 13 years. But check this out. This guy did it in one. He did it in 1 year. Why? Because you know why I say 1 year? Because a lot of people look at that and say, man, if I made $1 million, I wouldn't work a day in my life. That's why you don't have $1 million, and you never will, because you have that mentality. He did it in 24 hours. He didn't do it in 1 year, but he built up to that. And what he was selling was a product that was worth $10,000. Now, how many people do you know that have invested $10,000 on anything? Now, don't you think that you probably understand how to do that if you spoke to the guy? If you ask him, what mindset did he use to actually get to that point? Because it's all about mindset. I mean, if you like, I heard somewhere, I don't know where it was, like, if you got $1 million right now, what would be the first thing you should do? A lot of people would say, oh, I'll pay off my debt. Yeah, great. That makes you, that makes you feel like you're a nice person, that you want to pay off your debt. But that's not really going to make you happy. That's going to take away some, creditors from calling and everything like that. But it's not, it's going to stop the mailing of the, settlement payment. You know, we'll accept the lesser payment, whatever. But what would the first thing you need to do if you got $1 million? The first thing you should do when you got $1 million is you better become a millionaire quickly. You better have the millionaire mind quickly. You better start acting like the people have more. You know who said readers are leaders? A crap load of people said readers are leaders. But now Warren Buffett said something along the lines. I forgot the quote. It doesn't really matter. I'll think of it. I'll remember it some other time. But the more books you read, the more knowledge you can acquire. The more things you put into your mind, you have to feed your mind. Your mind is a living thing. It's a living organism. It always keeps shaping itself. There's always new connections made when you realize something, when you figure something out. And I don't know what happened, man. I don't know what happened where somewhere along the line, you forgot to feed your mind. Every single day, I see so many people sitting in front of the television. Since they wake up, the first thing they do is turn on the television. They get on their phone, right? Turn on the television. This is the first thing they do. Turn on the TV with the remote, right? And then they get on their phone to watch something on YouTube. Like they're not paying attention to that. They're looking at this, and they probably got some music playing in their earbuds or some other stuff. Excuse me. But first thing people do. Now, I heard Tony Robbins say that, you know, it depends, like a fit person has different habits, different daily routines and rituals than a person that's not fit. If you're fat, overweight, and you see somebody that's fit and in the weight that class that they're supposed to be, and they look and feel good, and, you know, don't hate on them. Just like poor people are hating on rich people. Stop hating on the rich and start becoming one of them, because you know what? The freaking bottom is overcrowded. Seriously, you have two choices. Either you keep whining about how rich people are idiots, how they don't like you, how, you know, you don't like them. You're never going to be one of them. And they're the only ones that have enough money and resources to live a better life. Now, if your idea of a great life is, you know, having your 1-bedroom apartment, being a teacher or something, or being whatever it is, you provide some value, you grow vegetables out of your backyard, or whatever your dream life is, like that to me is a successful person. A successful person is not somebody who has all the money in the world, because money doesn't really matter if you don't know what to do with it. A lot of people look at me, or they've listened to me and say, "Hey Frank, but why do you have such a big house? Why do you want, that's too much space, that's too big for you. How do you clean that house?" I'm like, who the hell said that I have to clean my house? That's what people are paid for. There's people that like cleaning houses. There's people that like doing certain things. There's people that have achieved a certain success level in their life that they're completely comfortable with. Now, responsibility, the only thing that it is your ability to respond to any situation that comes your way. That's basically it. Your ability to respond to any situation that comes your way. That's responsibility. When I used to be told what responsibility was, to me it was like, your responsibility is, because, you know, to be responsible, you have to have a 9-to-5, some kind of job to work for somebody else that you're going to get paid between $10 and $15 an hour. And that $15 an hour was a lot of money. You know what, the highest paying job that I had that I got paid was the one that I did the least. I got paid $12.75 to be a maintenance worker at some maintenance service, some maintenance company for Catholic priests or something. I forgot what it was. It was like seriously, I had to mow the lawn and do this and do that, and I was outside in a shed all day long just picking up rocks so that, you know, the lawnmower would be able to not, you know, kick them up or anything. This is what I did for $12.75 an hour. Now they expected me to go above and beyond. And yeah, I probably could have, and I would have moved up to the next level, and I would have been this other guy's supervisor and all this other stuff. But that's too small for me. Too small. And it's not that I think I'm such a hot shot or anything like that, but I didn't feel it, man. It's not me. I've learned different things. I've learned other things. I've had other experiences, and I want to experience more and more every time. Now, a lot of people say, why would you want a 10-bedroom house? Why do I want a 10-bedroom house? Because when I want my family over to my house, I don't want to have to give up my bed like so many times it happened when people came over to my house. That I had to give up my room for it. That I saw my father give up his room for it. That I've seen my mother sleep uncomfortable because there's never enough space for when their parents come over. Like, why couldn't you live on the next level if other people have done it? And most of these people that have done it are dumber than you. Trust me when I tell you, these are some dumb people. And it doesn't make them right, wrong, pretty, ugly. It doesn't matter what they are. Like most people, like you think you're so smart. Like I used to think, oh my, that's too good for me. No, it's not that it's too good for me because I've picked up garbage. I've cleaned toilets. I have done everything under the sun. I have done it all. I've had over 30 things to do. I've done, like I remember one time that I was picking up garbage. I was putting the trash in the black bags, condensing the trash into the black bags because I had to go mess with the compactor after that. The compactor, you know what a compactor in a 105 unit building looks like? Have you any idea what a compactor section in an apartment building that has 105 apartments looks like? They are freaking bus-sized roaches. I'm talking about a roach the size of these freaking glasses that's walking around, and the smell is horrible, and I was doing that. I've done all that. So don't look at me, I'm over here all nice and looking pretty, whatnot. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe you think so, maybe you don't, but it doesn't matter because, I like how I look. I like how I'm feeling right now because I decided to consistently work out every morning and do my little 10-minute routine and all that. And it's not about how much you do. It's about being consistent. Now, the thing is, I remember one time I was picking up trash and one of the building managers came down. She didn't know that I was taking the place of one of the guys that took the day off. And she looks at me and says, as soon as she comes out of the elevator, I'm putting trash in the bags. And she tells me, "Hey, Ed, what are you doing?" Well, what do you mean what I'm doing? I'm working. She's like, "Man, you don't look like you belong doing that." And I'm like, "You're telling me? I know I don't belong doing this, but you know what? I was making the guy's salary for that day. How much did he get paid? He got paid because he was union. You know what I'm saying? He was one of the Teamsters or whatever you call them. I don't know much about all that stuff. But like he was union and he used to get paid like $15, $16 an hour. And for me, being a high school student, that was pretty freaking good because all my people, all my boys and my friends, they were all working at McDonald's for $6.25 or $5.25. I don't remember what the going rate was, but I was making 3 times what my friends were making at their, managerial positions in Burger King or in Wendy's and Taco Bell and all this other stuff. And I actually did work for McDonald's as well after that. And it was a good experience. I just went to McDonald's because I went in there. I was taking this physical therapy course. And in Manhattan. And I went into the 28th Street McDonald's. I don't know if it's still there, but I went into the 28th Street McDonald's and I saw this girl. She was pretty girl. And I was like, man, trying to flirt with the girl. And I'm saying, are there any jobs available? You guys hiring? Just so I could work next to her, see if I could get to know her, stuff like that. She was the manager, big time. She was making big bucks. So yeah, she's like, sure, no problem. And they gave me a little interview. I filled out the application. Next day, I started the training. They put me up front on the register. And I started learning how to do the register and everything like that. And about a week later, 3 to 4 days after I started working, I get she tells me, "Hey, listen, the general manager wants to see you." General manager. I'm like, "Oh, okay." I haven't done anything, I've been doing my job. I've been learning. I don't know what the hell he wants to talk to me about. But I go downstairs into the next to the freezer, which was where his office was. And mind you, this was a very busy McDonald's. There's a lot of people going through there, a lot of traffic. And I'm like, all right, what did I do? So I go in and he's like, "Hey, Frank, sit down, please." Asian guy. Like, "I want to talk to you because I've noticed that you're different than the other people here." I'm like, okay, what do you mean? He's like, "Well, I want to tell you a story about how I became general manager." I'm like, okay. Yeah, I've been at McDonald's for 13 years. Every time I hear the number 13, if you don't know me, maybe you're getting to know me a little bit better. If you're still watching, thanks for being here. And I hope this is of value to you. I hope you're getting something from it because my intention is just to help you understand how my bad decisions have become great stories. And it wasn't a bad decision. There are no bad decisions. That's the whole point of this whole thing. There's no bad decisions. There's just things that you do, things that you don't, things that you take action on, things that you don't, and the results that you get from either doing or not doing certain things. All right. So the guy tells me, I've been at McDonald's for 13 years. You know, when I was in high school, I wasn't too, you know, I wasn't a good high school student. I didn't do my homework. I did my homework on the train as I was going because I was working part-time at McDonald's and doing this whole thing. I just did it just to graduate because I needed a high school diploma to go to Hamburger University. Yeah, you heard me, Hamburger University. If you're from McDonald's, they actually have a university that they teach you all about meat packing and, you know, the proper safety precautions that you need to take for the whole, you know, what the temperatures are supposed to be when you cook it, how you're supposed to store it, how you're supposed to handle it, and all those things that, you know, that are essential for so you can provide safe food for the people that you serve. Okay, so this he tells me Hamburger University. Hold on, my computer is, the Mac is dying. Let me plug it in. It's at 13% and it's 10:31. All right. So the thing is that he's talking about Hamburg University, and I'm looking at his diplomas on the wall and all this, and I'm like, okay, this interests me not. This doesn't interest me one bit. I don't know why he's talking to me. And he tells me, he's like, listen, you're different. I've noticed that you've been here about a week, and I've never seen anybody do this here. And he's like, you call everybody by their first name. I'm like, okay. That's something that I just picked up on because I had already taken this seminar on, you know, memory and things like that. And I've always made it a point because I felt very uncomfortable when I forget somebody's name right after meeting them. Like, hi, my name is Susan or something. And I'm like, hey, my name is Ed Frank. And I'm just focused on what they think of me and all this stuff. I'm all in my head and not really paying attention to the present moment. And then it's like I decided to learn people's name and actually speak their names every time I spoke to them so I could know, you know, make a better connection because I wanted to connect more with people. And just by doing that, you know, the sweetest word that you could tell someone is their own name. That's the sweetest sounding word, is their own name. I mean, say it to yourself. When you're in those intimate moments, don't you love it when your partner calls your name out and everything? Hey, buddy, how you doing? You're doing good. Yeah, I'm live. Good morning, buddy. What's up, Dragon Breath? You brushing teeth? No? You just woke up? Cool. So brush your teeth so we can have breakfast. All right, so anyway. Yes, one. What? For who? Okay. Yes, sir. No problem, sir. All right. Anyway, so like I was saying, these things happen. You see, when you're working from home, it's like you don't have a set schedule. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. But usually people don't understand that you're actually working. Now, the thing is, let me just cut this a little bit short. I mean, I've been rambling on for a while, and I appreciate you being here, by the way. Thank you for listening to my story, because that for a very long time I thought that nobody wanted to hear what I had to say. That what I had to say and what I had lived wasn't really important. But I realized that a lot of people have gone through the same thing that I've gone through and are still stuck and haven't actually had the opportunity to meet someone that they connected with. And if you're connecting with me, that's amazing to me, and I really appreciate you for it. So, click the link, subscribe to my list. Let's connect, and we can, keep being friends. Look me up on Facebook at frankcontreras.com, and the best way to connect is with therealformula.com, which is a way of how so many other people have made bad decisions during their whole lives and have turned them into wonderful success stories. So, to finish off, he told me, nobody has mentioned that, nobody calls them by their first names, and you have that quality that I'd like to put you in the accelerated program so that you can, be a supervisor and then, be a manager and make this and this and this and this and that. And they started, kind of fast tracking me through the whole process and getting me to learn how to build the sandwiches and learning how to do this over here and how to do that over there. And I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. I don't want to learn all that. Let me just stay in the register in the front because I like talking to people. And that's cool. I just provide the service up there. And the team trainer, they're very excited, making freaking $5.25 an hour. It's like, if you got to learn this so when you become a manager or whatever. One day I remember the corporate team, and this is what I'm going to close out with. I remember the corporate team from McDonald's was there. And this is where I started learning on how how people make mistakes. People make mistakes, like big time, when they're like focused on different on what they're not supposed to be focused on. So the corporate team is there and they're timing people. They have stopwatches and everything and timing all the employees. I had just gone to work and they had the stopwatch right there and they're like, all right, this one had the order, click. Let's see how fast they finish it out. Click. Let's see how fast they finish it out. And I'm looking at this. I'm like, okay. I had just read the Don't Sweat the Small Stuff. It's all small stuff. So I'm really taking it easy. I'm like slow motion, but really not slow motion, but more efficient. Instead of, going fast and worrying about everything and this and this and that, I saw all these people speeding through what they had to do and spilling milkshakes and spilling soda and having to stop and pick it up just because they wanted to be fast so the corporate team could like them. Like, it doesn't really matter. What the hell are you going to do? They're going to give you a spot at the corporate team. I don't want to be in a cubicle anyway. What the hell is this? I mean, most people, I don't know what they wanted to go for. But like that same girl that I went in there to meet, she became this notorious bitch. Like, wasn't a bitch, but I mean, it was just that she liked her job and she was real serious about it because it was her and her brother actually that were managers there. And then like one day she's like, that day I'm over here, I'm noticing that my time is faster than those other guys that are rushing through everything because they're spilling stuff and having to waste time picking it up and then redoing it. I did everything once, calmly. And, I noticed that, when people were rushing by me, I wasn't bumping into them. I was just taking my time, letting them pass, and then going to do what I do efficiently. Now, they didn't notice this. They didn't like it because they didn't see me rushing. They didn't see me all agitated and everything like that. So what happened was that I had just gotten there, and they immediately told me to go to lunch. It was like 12 o'clock, and at 12:15, they're like, go to lunch, take lunch, because the girls told me, listen, if you ever want to make manager someday, this is your job that you have to, hustle. You have to hustle because this is your job. And if you want to make manager someday, you're going to have to do it this way. I'm like, who told you I want to make manager? And if it is my job, like, you shouldn't be worried about it. I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend you, but don't worry about it. But anyway, I hope you got some value out of that. TheRealFormula.com. Check it out. And I'll see you on the next one, on episode 2. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you. I love you. Remember to live a life of inspiration, passion, and drive. This is Ed Frank Contreras signing off. See you on the next one.